Alrighty. So once again, welcome all to Grow Your Service Business with Technology. My name is Taylor Engstrom. I'm here with Modernize, and I have my colleague Andrew over there from Service Fusion. And just quickly here, guys, just want to run you through a quick agenda of what we plan on covering. So we're obviously going to introduce ourselves. We're going to get into the actual tactics and sort of the information you're really here for, which is how technology can help you grow your business. Some of the solutions you can look at, some of the tactics you can apply today, and obviously how our companies can help you with that. So we'll get into that. Q&A we'll do at the end, as I mentioned, but please type them in the moment they come up. We'll be happy to answer them. And then, like I mentioned, we do have an attendee bonus, so please stay to the end if you can, and we'll tell you all about that. So like I mentioned, my name is Taylor Engstrom. I am the Partner Marketing Manager here at Modernize. I've been here for roughly 2 years, and really helping out homeowners is what what our business is all about, as well as helping contractors connect with those homeowners. So Modernize is the #1 privately held home improvement lead generation company for 4 core verticals. We focus on HVAC, roofing, solar, and windows. We also do some siding and doors. So if you're a home service professional in any of those professions and those verticals, we'll be happy to help you connect with more homeowners. But once again, my name is Taylor, and that's my colleague over there, Andrew.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Andrew Davis. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Service Fusion. I've been at Service Fusion for, if I'm doing my math right, 8-9 months now. Super excited about the direction of the company and what we're doing. Service Fusion is an all-in-one field service management software that is designed to help our customers win repeat business. We help all home and commercial service contractors with an application that really helps them run their business a lot better and a lot smoother.
Love it. And then Andrew, I believe this next slide is yours. So if you want to go ahead and get us started here.
Yeah, definitely. So, we're talking about technology in 2020. I mean, the year's 2020, we all deal with technology on a day-to-day basis. And it doesn't matter what industry or vertical you're in or who you service, whether it's B2B or B2C or anything along those lines, technology is impacting our businesses every day. So one of the most important things from a technology standpoint is having a customer management tool. Now, all the Service Fusion customers in the house today are probably raising their hand and saying, yeah, I have a customer management tool at Service Fusion, and it definitely is. The most important thing here is having a single point of reference for all your leads that you've generated, all the customers, all the estimates, everything along those lines. Really gone are the days of having a filing cabinet in the back office, and if you do, I strongly suggest looking for a customer management tool. A single point of reference for all your leads is so important for a bunch of different reasons. Organization is one that comes to top of mind. If you're an organized company, then you're a company that most of your customers are going to come back to. Data integrity is another thing that comes to mind. It's crucial for business these days, and it's expected. If you don't have everything in one place, chaos is going to ensue pretty quickly from a business standpoint. So just having a single point of reference for all your leads is really important. For service contractors specifically, understanding job and customer history is really, really important. To win repeat business, you need to understand the business that you did for them previously in the past, right? So if I have a service contractor come out to my house and they can't tell me what they did 6 months ago or a year ago or even 2-3 years ago because it's in some file in the back of their office, I'm not too impressed with them. But if they can pull it up on their phone, if they can show me pictures that they took last time they were here, anything along those lines, that's really impressive to me, and I'm going to call that service contractor back when I need them again. So having job history and customer history and even sticky notes, like virtual sticky notes that you can kind of throw up at the top of an account are really beneficial factors within a customer management tool. Service Fusion has all of those features, which is really cool, but that really helps both your back office team and your field technicians understand the customer that they're going to visit or the site that they're at right now. So job and customer histories are super important. Being able to quickly assess lead source performance over time. Managing marketing efforts is really important. I mean, I'm a director of marketing here. Like we do this all day from a marketing department standpoint, and you should be doing it for your business as well. there's a feature, an add-on feature of Service Fusion's called ServiceCall.ai, and basically that allows you to have different phone numbers in different areas like Google, Facebook, on your website, and track where those calls are coming in from in a real-time basis. And then as a business owner or an office manager or an operations manager, anything along those lines, you can go back and run reports and see, okay, a bulk of my calls are coming in from Google, or a bulk of them are coming in from Facebook, right? Maybe my marketing dollars should be spent there more. I'm winning the most customers from Facebook or something along those lines. Just making smart, easy, intelligent decisions for your business and being able to track those lead sources of where all that's coming in. That's all going to feed into a customer management tool. And then finally, creating lead statuses and building nurture streams and processes. Lead statuses are nothing new, tracking it from, hey, this person needs to be contacted, all the way down to, hey, I've closed this business. We either won it or we lost it. Hopefully you won it. But there are those ones out there that you do lose. And then creating and building nurture streams. This sounds difficult. This sounds like you need a marketing department for, and you really don't. There's tools out there like we use HubSpot for it, but MailChimp is a great, really cost-effective small business solution that helps you do email marketing and create nurture and drip campaigns that's really affordable. The whole point of a nurture program and a process like that and a drip campaign is staying top of mind. It's really important to stay top of mind, and it sounds crazy, but you want to create that anxiety in your prospects, meaning, hey, you want to continually be in their inbox saying, oh, to the point where they're sitting in a meeting and they get an email in their inbox or something along those lines, and it creates anxiety of like, oh, I really got to do that. Oh, I really should schedule that demo. Oh, I should really call that HVAC person. Oh, I should really get a quote for this because my roof has a leak in it, or something along those lines. To kind of put it on a personal sense, my wife is constantly asking me to do things around my house every single day, right? She's like, oh, did you call the mobile vet? Did you call the person about the lawn? Did you get the pest control guy out here? And all this stuff, and it's just always in my ear, and it constantly creates anxiety. Well, she's my personal nurture on personal life. She's constantly at the top of my inbox every single day when she's talking about it. That's what a nurture is designed to do. It's designed to keep your brand and your services top of mind within your prospects' inboxes, to the point where they have that little bit of anxiety where they're like, I need to call this person. This person's at the top of my inbox. I just need to get this done and get it figured out. So those are some of the most important things you should look for in a customer management tool, especially when you're assessing technology. Taylor, anything to add there?
Yeah, and I love that wife example, and I think one thing I don't want to get sort of left off into the ether is just the idea that about systems, right? Like, this is something that's creating the lack of need to actually think about this stuff, right? So a lot of you out there, I assume, are business owners. You have your own sort of process in the way you think about working customers and prospects. I call them twice on the first day. I call them another time the next day. I'm sure you have a process that's worked great for you. But I assume you might have a sales team as well. And each one of those reps have their own systems within that. Maybe they call 5 times on the first day. Maybe they wait, a week or 3 days until they call again, right? I think the whole idea with a CRM is to have a system in place in which you don't have to think about these things, right? In which you're able to dynamically assign lead statuses, or everyone pre-appointment gets the same amount of emails or calls, and everyone after appointment gets the same deal. It's creating a system around everything that you can systematize. So your reps don't have to think, you don't have to think about it. You just know that's the way the business is run, and you're able to focus on the good stuff, which is actually closing the deal, right? So really want to make sure we hammer home on that, but totally agreed on all points, Andrew.
Exactly.
Awesome. So the second one is actually the sale in the home, right? So how quoting and estimation can help you close more business. This one's pretty obvious, but I think that a lot of people sort of fail to sort of realize the impact of a well-run appointment versus one that's sort of going through the motions, right? And technology is a big part of that. I think we're at a stage in society in which our consumers are never more informed than they have been, than they are now. And a lot of times they already know, whether you're coming in to talk about an HVAC replacement, a roof repair, really any home service job, they've probably done some level of research, whether that's one Google search or they've talked to 3 neighbors who've got the same project done. They have a rough idea of cost, and they likely have a credible source that gave them that cost, right? So being able to tie your estimates and back them up to credible data sources is going to be huge, right? Like I assume you have a lot of you out there have your normal costs of goods and in sort of how you price, but being able to talk through how you got there and be able to put them in range in terms of the market. Is this middle of the market price? Are you sort of a low cost, high quality provider? Where exactly is your cost sitting and how can you back that up to be credible, right? Another huge part here, and probably a big reason all you guys are here, is just the idea of using software for this process, right? We have a great company we work with besides Service Fusion called Leap, and they're an estimation tool. So what they really help you do is automate the estimation and contract process. So you're able to, once again, focus on the good stuff, actually closing the deal, right? You don't want to be going into a home, giving them an estimate and they're interested, and then writing down credit card numbers for a deposit. That's the last thing you want to be doing. Number one, you're going to lose their trust. Number two, it's going to take your actual time. And number three, you won't be able to have the sort of personal conversation that you want to, that might be able to help you close a deal at a higher rate, right? So that's when you can lean on technology in that contract and estimation process. The last thing, and Andrew, please, feel free to shout out here, is that with some solutions out there, Service Fusion obviously being one of them, once that estimate actually becomes a customer, you can convert the estimate into a project. So Andrew, would love to hear more about how that works.
Yeah, definitely. It's all designed around what I talked about on the previous slide in terms of data integrity and making sure that your data is as clean as possible. So that's one thing that Service Fusion really helps with is you create the estimate, you can send the estimate, they can review it, and if they're good to go and they like it, you can just convert that estimate into a job, and you don't have an estimate and a job for the same thing sitting in your database, and it's kind of skewing a little bit of data there. So it's really nice. In addition, you can have on your dashboard in Service Fusion to see how many estimates converted to jobs, and you can see your win rate, and you can see everything along those lines. And so it's really important to save time and have data integrity by having a system that can convert estimates into jobs, and Service Fusion is definitely an application for that.
Awesome. And just sort of to hammer the point home here, folks, is this is actually data that we pulled from our homeowners. So I mentioned Modernize is a privately held lead generation company. So we actually generate 200,000 plus homeowner requests on our website. We also do a great job of surveying these homeowners about what's important to them when looking for a contractor or when selecting who to go with ultimately for the job. So when we ask them what attribute of a contractor's sales process would make you least likely to hire him or her, the number one, not by far, but by a decent margin, was unclear or confusing quote or bid, right? So if you're coming into a home, you're trying to develop rapport with the homeowner, you're trying to give them a quote or an estimate, and you're not super clear about that, again, like, is your data able to be backed up by a credible source? How is it going overall? If you're able to use technology to say, like, look, here's your quote, it's super transparent how much all the supplies cost. This is, our markup. This is, whether this is a high cost or a low cost based on your market. If you're able to be super clear and transparent, you're going to win that deal. Or if you're not, as this data says, it's going to be one of the largest reasons that you lose that deal. So just really want to hammer home here the impact of a well-run contract and estimation process and how you can use technology for that. Awesome. So in terms of process, right, we talked a lot about tools and about CRMs. We talked about estimation tools. One thing I want to make sure that we harp on here is that buying and looking at and evaluating technology is its own process, right? A lot of you out there are HVAC, home service professionals. You might be a roofer. That is what you do as your job. But technology can help you with that job. But looking at technology is another sort of aspect of your job that maybe you're not thinking about, right? Thinking about onboarding a technology solution is a lot different than thinking about hiring a new person, right? Or any of these other business functions that you do that aren't necessarily what you're getting paid for. So one way that we want to attack this is really thinking through the business functions and about what is opaque or sort of unclear about your business that today that technology can help with, right? Like, what are some things that you're spending way too much time on? What are some things that are manual that you could potentially automate through technology? Could you answer that question right now if I asked you? Make sure you're always doing that as you try to improve your business. So we called out a couple here on the slides. You can read them. Is homeowner management something you're struggling with, right? Like, are you getting enough leads in the pipeline? Are you able to know how quality they are? Are you able to know if the phone number is good, right? Things like that. Contracting and quoting, we just talked about that. Invoicing, a lot of you should already have this, technology-wise, but you might not. And then lastly, following up with leads, right? Like we talked about the critical need to chat with these leads as soon as possible, to be able to reference job or customer history, right? All of these things are extremely manual at some of these smaller businesses. So thinking through which ones technology-wise you can solve for immediately. Andrew, anything to add to that?
No, I think you nailed it right on the head there, Taylor. I think moving on to kind of the process for evaluating technology and solutions for your business. This can actually be a really tough one, believe it or not. It sounds like an easy process. Just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do a couple Google searches and look for a couple applications and read a couple reviews and move on. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, you're evaluating technology for your business, which means this technology, whether you want it to or not, is going to have an impact on your business. And so you should have a structured way that you evaluate technology. One thing that we've implemented at Service Fusion when we're evaluating technology vendors and who we want to bring in as a technology partner is built a scorecard. We had different things that were important to us on that scorecard, like what's their support like? Are they reachable? Do they have multiple ways to be reached? What's the downtime and the uptime on their application? Is it easy to use? Is it mobile? Do we have a mobile option for it? Is it cloud-based versus desktop? Like things like that, and a continued amount of questions that are really focused on our business. But we use this to score our technology solutions when we're looking for them. So the reason we did this is because we didn't really want to fall victim, and especially me, at least for my department, I didn't really want to fall victim to the really good salesperson. I like creating relationships with people. I like talking about my problems from a business standpoint and kind of talking them out with a salesperson. And really, if you talk about pain points with a lot of different salespeople, they're all going to say that they can solve that problem, right? So you have to be able to follow through with what's really important for your business. And so we use the scorecard to kind of keep ourselves honest, which is really nice. And you have to make the right choice for your business. So, developing a scorecard, even if it's like an Excel spreadsheet with just a couple line items, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, and these are the things that I'm looking for, and you assess 3 or 4 different pieces of technology and choose the one that's best. At least it's an organized fashion that allows you to evaluate almost unbiasedly, where you're like, hey, this piece of technology is really good. I really liked this salesperson in the way, everything about this, but this is probably going to be better for us because, they provide phone support and I need phone support. That's something Service Fusion does. I mean? We try to drive that home versus another technology solution that is pretty good, real close to that, but doesn't provide phone support or whatever it is, right? Like that's really important to your business. So figure out what the important things to your business and what you're hoping to achieve from the technology, and then just build a scorecard off of that and be honest with yourself and rank what's important to you. And if having an account rep that's a really good salesperson is important to you, then cool, put that on the scorecard. But just figure out what's important to you guys and what's right for your business so you can make the best decision for your business. Anything to add on that, Taylor, at all?
Yeah, just quickly on the last point, we talk about how you think about investing in your business today. So as a privately held lead generation company for residential home service contractors, what we talk about all the time is if you're a contractor that's looking for growth, right? If you want a ton of growth, if you want a lot more projects per month, which means you'll want a lot more homeowners to have your salespeople running appointments with, we're a good. What we're helping you accomplish is growth in your business. Are we the cheapest solution out there? Like, probably not. Are there certain things that we don't really cater to? Because I mentioned we're only in 4 core verticals. Yes, but if you're in our customer segment and you're looking for growth, you're going to be looking for a solution like us. So in terms of investing in your business, anyone can invest in technology and look for a shiny new tool. I think all of us out there have things we think that we could find value in. But really, it's about prioritization. So this is similar to a scorecard idea. It's like, what are you really trying to accomplish? Are you trying to save money? Are you trying to make your business more efficient? Or are you trying to grow? Once you figure out some of your higher level objectives, backing down into what technology can then help you with that and then creating a scorecard for selecting one of those technology solutions is a great way to think about the process of evaluating technology and ultimately making a perfect purchase. So
definitely.
Awesome. The next one everyone loves is optimizing your website to convert more leads, right? Today's consumer is more tech savvy than ever been before. It's likely if they're not being introduced to you directly via word of mouth, they're checking out your website. And whether or not they go to that directly, we're here in Austin, Texas. Modernize is based in Austin, Texas. If I'm typing in, window replacement in Austin, Texas on Google, my first click is like, the website that looks the best or whichever ad is ranking the highest, and then I go to their website. So if I land on your website and it's not optimized for my viewing experience, I'm probably not going to trust you as a business right after that, right? So how much focus do you need to put on your website? So we wanted to put some quick sort of actionable things you can think about and do to make sure that your website is more able to generate trust with a homeowner. The first is just being optimized, right? I spend a lot of time on my phone, probably more than I'd like to admit, but a lot of businesses conducted on the phone now. So if your website is unable to be looked at via my iPhone, that's an issue, right? Or if some images don't look as good because it's on my phone, that's an issue, right? So really thinking mobile first will help you convert with today's sort of younger audience, younger homeowners, and will really help your business get more jobs done, right? The second thing is imagery and video, right? It's never been cheaper to make professional video, never been cheaper to find photographers in your area that can help you take pictures of your great projects. That's huge in today's web, and it's never been more equipped for your business website to look better with imagery and video.
Definitely. And if I could chime in real quick, Taylor, I got a strong background in video marketing. I've been using video for most of my career. And I can't stress enough how much video helps explain your company story, your services, make some of your prospects or your website visitors more comfortable with you as a business right off the bat. It's really beneficial, and it helps with SEO. So the more content that you make and you get it on YouTube or you get it on Vimeo or whatever it is, it's going to help rankings. It's going to get more people in front of you. And in a landing page, like if I were to search for HVAC contractors in Dallas, Texas, right? And there were videos on the homepage or on the landing page that we went to, and I could watch that, and I could learn about the business or see the technicians and everything along those lines. I as a consumer, I love that. I absolutely love that. I can guarantee you, just like what you said, Taylor, it has never been more affordable to make videos for your business. If you guys remember during the holiday season, Apple had an entire commercial campaign about a snowball fight that was made on the iPhone 11. They're not lying. Like there's no cameras behind the screen or behind the scenes with amazing lights and stuff. They literally filmed that entire commercial with an iPhone. I personally, at previous positions, have filmed like actual videos that we used in our marketing and on our web pages with my iPhone. And it's all about structure. It's all about how you want it to look and everything. The key thing, just a quick point on video, the key thing that makes or breaks a video is audio. Is it good audio? If you're in a room and you're echoing a lot and it's bouncing off of windows and walls because there's not a lot of furniture in the room and stuff like that, that's going to make a video bad. But if you take $50, $100 and you get on Amazon Prime and you find something that plugs into either an iPhone or a simple camera and stuff like that, that's going to make the world of difference when it comes to creating video content for your website. So just a little bit of information on that one. And then kind of moving on to customer testimonials on the site. I mean, that's a given. We all know that reviews are pretty killer. There's a lot of technology out there that's going to help you with reviews. There's Bird Eye, there's Podium. There's all kinds of different applications that you can work with. Getting reviews on Google is super important. That's being reviewed a ton. And looked at by consumers a ton, and actually helps with rankings. You can get your little star ranking that's on the Google My Business listed on your Google results. That's not difficult at all. You just honestly do a quick Google search to figure out how to do it. But those reviews really, really help in the rankings, and it helps with click-through rates as well to get more people to your site, which is really good. Kind of the big thing for me, which kind of goes off mobilely optimized a little bit, but more on the call to action side, is how easy is it to get in touch with you? Unfortunately, a lot of the times when I get on a website for a home service or a contracting service, I don't really know what to do as a user. I get on it, I scroll through, they're like, hey, we do all these different services. I'm like, hey, that's great. You know, I'd like to read a couple reviews. Hopefully some are listed on the site. But the big thing for me is where do I go when I want to take action? Typically, there's something up in the right hand on a good website. There's something in the upper right hand corner that says get a quote, get a free estimate, contact us, or a phone number's listed, an email, something along those lines. That's typically where my eyes go, but I am a trained marketing professional, so I typically go that way. But I think a lot of consumers think that way too. The big thing is just make it easy for people to figure out how to get in touch with you, right? If your main source of traffic and leads is your cell phone number, then have the cell phone number listed, or have a button that leads to a page that has your cell phone number listed, or something along those lines, something super easy, and then give them an expectation of what's going to happen after they take that action. Whether it's filling out a form, okay, I fill out a form and I hit submit, or I hit request demo, or whatever, or sorry, not demo, request a quote, then you know, what do I expect? Is somebody going to get back in touch with me in a day, in an hour, in a week? Like, what are my expectations as a consumer from that end? And then kind of the last point that's pretty important when it comes to call to actions and getting in touch. I know not everybody does it, and it's okay, and I understand why, but it's really important if you have a professional URL in your email. And the reason for that is it makes you seem more professional as an organization, more organized, and more thought out for your consumers. Johnny5687@gmail.com is probably not the best email address you want to put on your website. It can be the email address that leads get sent to from your website. That's totally fine because they don't see that email address. But if you advertise that on your website, it's probably not the best thing in the world. I wouldn't say that it would crash your business by any means, but it's probably not the best thing. But Johnny@56windows.com, that's an email that somebody's going to be comfortable emailing. They know that that's not going to be some type of spam email, or they know that that's not going to get lost in the clutter of every other email list that's out there. So it doesn't cost a lot of money. GoDaddy's really good at it. G Suite and Google have great options. Just getting a professional URL on Google Domains, you can buy a professional URL for $12 and set up email, I think, for an additional $2 a month. So it's not a ton of money at all. But something that's something important to kind of pay attention to. And then when you're building your website or you're optimizing your website, you know, we're talking about mobile, we're talking about video, we're talking about customer testimonials and call to actions and everything. All of this should be tested using common sense, right? There's no secret sauce, I guess, is the way I could say it, to make your website go from, you know, 50 leads a month to 100 leads a month, right? You can make quick, easy changes, putting forms above what's called a fold that I'll get into in a second with testing. But those can make tweaks and change it 10%, 20%, whatever it is. But there's no secret sauce really, unless you understand your visitors and you understand your consumers. And you do that through testing. So it doesn't have to be hard, you guys. It doesn't have to be complex. You don't have to go to some super special agency that can test all of this. Honestly, when Service Fusion was rebuilding our website back in Q3 of last year, I had a lot of people I just knew personally test it. When we were in staging and kind of testing out the site, I had my wife look at it and she kind of played around with it on her phone, on our tablet, on a laptop, and I kind of just asked her, like, are you lost? Like, do you know what we do? Do you know, like, where to go if you want to learn more? Do you know what do you want to do on this page? Everything along those lines. And I did that with roughly 7 to 10 people, and it gave me so much information, because we make assumptions in our mind as me as a marketer, but just us as, you know, you guys on the call as business owners and business operators. Of, hey, well, this is easy for me. A lot of assumptions I make are not always correct from a testing standpoint. They're just assumptions based off my experience. But if I bring in 10 other opinions and they're way off, then it really does make a difference. The big thing about user testing, what you want to get out of it is it easy to navigate your site? Is it easy on the phone? Is it easy on the laptop and the tablet? Everything along those lines. Is it easy to find how to get in touch with you? Is it easy to become a lead? That's the biggest thing. You don't need to clutter it up with 900 pages and everything along those lines. Websites are actually going simpler and smaller. There's many, many websites out there that are actually one page. Not saying you have to do that, but you could make it work if you needed to, but just make it easy. Make it easy for your customers to find you and get a hold of you. One story real quick that came out of our testing that my wife found was we had a demo request page. It's one of our most active pages where people will go in and request a demo, fill out their information and everything. And when we launched the new site, half of the form was below what's called the fold, which is the bottom of your screen. Meaning the fold is, if it's below the fold, that means you have to scroll to see it. If it's above the fold, it means it loads as your page loads, right? And so half of our form was above the fold and half of it was below the fold. And conversion rates were kind of dropping a little bit, and we were like, what's going on? And so we had it test a little bit. My wife kind of ringed it in my ear a little bit of, well, I only see my first name and last name requirements. It's not implied that I should continue to scroll. So what we did is we redesigned the page real quick, put the form above the fold, so the entire thing was above the fold, and it increased our conversion rates back up to where we wanted to be and above where we wanted to be. And that's a really, really small thing. So just have the entire form visible right there as the page loads. You want your primary action from your customers to be right there on the screen as the screen loads. You don't want them to have to go search for it. So just a quick story on that. It made all the difference. I know a lot of websites that I look at of our existing customers and our prospects, you have to scroll down to the contact us page and everything along those lines and find that form. Not a terrible thing, but I bet you it would help a lot more if that contact us thing was higher up on the page. I'd be curious to see what some of our customers had to say about that if they implemented that change. Taylor, anything on your end about optimizing websites that I missed?
Yeah, no, I think the one thing I really want to hammer home is that while we mentioned stuff like high quality imagery and high quality video and mobile optimization, right? It really is dead simple, right? Like it shouldn't be that much more complicated than, your Google My Business listing, right? Like business name, like core value prop, your hours is that easily locatable. How to get in touch with you, whether that's a phone number, like a cell phone number, like Andrew mentioned, if necessary, or, sales@abcplumbing.com. It should just be the core things that people want to get in touch with you about, right? I mean, for a lot of these home improvement projects, some of them are like borderline emergencies. So people want to trust you as fast as possible. Make it easy to trust you, right? Your customers can be the number one source of your content, right? Customer testimonial, maybe a picture of the job, maybe a picture of the customer. Maybe those 3 images are the only images on your website, but they're from a real customer, so someone will trust you that much more. So while it could be complicated, you want the site to look relatively good and work on a phone, it should be dead simple. So I think Andrew totally covered that, and keep that in mind with this. Awesome. So sort of rolling into this whole idea of having a great digital presence is take advantage of digital marketing channels, right? We assume you're canvassing right now, checking out the neighborhood and seeing if anyone need your services. We assume you may be calling. We assume you may be advertising in local publications or the yellow pages even, but really try to take advantage of digital marketing channels. There's a lot of them out there today. Don't be too intimidated. They're easier than ever to use. Obviously, everyone knows the big search engine, Google, along with Bing by Microsoft. And Facebook, whether or not you guys are on Facebook or not, a lot of your potential homeowners could be. I would say really think about, first of all, whether you should take advantage of a pull marketing channel, so pulling in homeowners, or a push marketing channel, pushing your message on homeowners, right? So given the fact that we're great partners with Service Fusion, a lot of you folks out there are HVAC companies. A lot of times your projects are suited best for a pull marketing channel, right? We're in Texas. My first summer here, we busted my AC unit for like a week. And that's probably the most irritable I've ever been with my fiance as I was then, right? So pull marketing channel is probably best. I'm probably desperately typing in that I need my AC unit replaced, right? So if you're in a trade in which pull makes sense, make sure you're spending your money there. Don't be forcing your message on the fact that you've been in business 50 years or whatever it may be. Really focus on the pull marketing channels, right? So sort of piggybacking off of that, really try to find out what's the best channel for your business, right? It really makes a lot of sense if you're just getting started to try as many things as possible. A lot of times that's what Andrew and I have done, and like starting out a marketing job is seeing what works, right? So spend a little money on Facebook, spend a little money on Bing or Google, and really sort of see where your message and where your specific product or advantage within said trade might work. Once you're able to sort of get a baseline for where things are happening, try to optimize in those areas. It's sort of like a no-brainer, but I think a lot of times people get really intimidated and either like try to do everything as best as possible, or they do nothing. So really just try to find out where your early winners are and sort of tell a story based on that. The next point I want to cover is just what's your strongest value prop, right? I think a lot of times with businesses, especially small businesses, they really try to be everything for all people, and you can't do that, right? Like customers inherently are a bit, we're a bit paranoid and we don't really trust you right off the bat, especially if your story is messy, right? Like what is the one thing that you do better than everybody else? Or what is the one reason people typically do business with you? Have you been in business the longest? Is there a lot of trust there? Do you support the local Little League and you're just sort of a brand name because of how long you've been in business? That's something that should be front and center, not only on your website, like we just talked about, but in your ad copy, right? In your Facebook ads, where you're spending money, it should be consistent across. If you haven't been in business the longest, but maybe you work with the best manufacturers and you have the best end product, maybe that should be what you should be advertising. Maybe you have the highest customer satisfaction. People love your work. They have great word of mouth going on. Maybe that's what you're trusting for. There's a lot of different areas in which you can sort of specialize as your unique value prop. Why should people trust uniquely you? Once you know that, yell it from the tops of mountains, and whether that's on your website, where you're advertised, really how you speak about your business, you should already know this. And once you know this should be the core of your advertising plan.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and kind of to piggyback off of that, like value prop is it's almost like your elevator pitch, you know what I mean, or your cocktail pitch, and it's just like, why should I choose you over anybody else? Like Service Fusion is a no per user fee, simple all-in-one field service management software. Straightforward. Like that's our value prop. A value prop of an HVAC tech could be, or an HVAC company could be, we're a trained dealer that provides 24/7 support. Plain and simple. You know what I mean? Like we're there for you in emergencies, and we use some of the best the best units out there, right? It doesn't have to be crazy written. If you want to hire a copywriter and kind of figure that out, there's options out there. There's Fiverr, there's Upwork. You can find those guys for very cheap. Those are a couple pieces of technology that you guys could use. But it doesn't have to be difficult. Just sit down, think about, what do we do better than everybody else? How can we keep winning customers? And like Taylor said, scream it from the top of the mountains. And then understanding some best practices in your industry that you've seen. What are your competitors advertising? They're probably testing things out and trying some things out, but honestly, like Google is your best friend. We've mentioned Google so many times on this. Like, I'm surprised they don't run the world by now, but like, it's amazing what you can do with a simple Google search and figure out what your competitors are doing, what the industry is doing, and either, changing that on your external website, like we talked about, your external marketing, anything along those lines, or just coming up with a value prop, like we talked about, to kind of push your story and your message forward. And then, I don't want to kind of drive this home as much much more than what we have already, but experiment. Taylor, I'm sure that if you as a marketer have done this probably just as much as I have, is testing things out. You know what I mean? It may seem like all the time that like businesses that are growing and stuff, like, they really have it all together and they know exactly what they're doing. And the reality is they don't. Most of the time they tested 7 things and 3 of them worked. They didn't do the 4 ones that didn't work anymore. They stopped doing that because it was dumb, and because the data told them it was dumb, and they started doing the 3 things that started working really, really well. Your business might not work on Facebook. It might not. It may be Google and Bing may be your strongest places to find customers. If Facebook doesn't work for you, just stay from an organic standpoint and have the presence there from a validity standpoint, but don't sink money into it if you don't need to. But you should at least test it to see if it is going to work for you. But experimenting is the biggest point in finding out where that jet fuel for your business really is. You know what I mean? If you can find that those digital marketing channels that really work for you, and really drive a consistent customer base, then those are the areas as a marketer, if you were to hire a consultant or anything along those lines, they'd be go, okay, what's working? We want to scale that. What's not? Let's stop doing that.
Yeah, I love all of those points. And I think one thing I want to hammer home here is the experimentation part. Experiment can mean a ton of things, right? It could be experiment with which marketing channels you're using. It could be experiment with your value prop. Maybe you don't really know what it is just yet, or there's a couple things in which you stand out and you're not sure which one will work the most with new customers, right? Like maybe you've been in the business the longest, but you also have 24/7. Let's see what works in terms of an ad message. Let's experiment with that. Another great example that I like to typically go to is experiment with your call to action, right? Is it maybe you're offering a free consultation, or maybe you have 20% off, or maybe you want them to call you instead of email you, right? Like all of these levers are things you can pull in your advertising, not only in your ad copy, but in the actual channels you choose, right? So just really taking on the mindset of like, I'm going to test everything that I can. And then once we have some traction, really get behind that. So really just approaching that with digital advertising will really pay back dividends. So just having that mindset. Awesome. Cool. So we talked a lot about digital marketing. And as we mentioned several times, it can be intimidating, right? There's a lot of channels out there. There's a lot of customizations you can apply. But really, there's a lot of people out there that can help you as well, right? I assume a lot of you out there have tried some of these digital marketing tactics. You've joined us on this webinar. I assume you've done webinars before. You've seen all the things, the levers out there you can pull. But there are professional experts that can help you with a lot of these things, right? And it's not to say that like, you know, you can't do X, Y, Z. It's really that you want more growth or you want things to happen faster, right? Maybe you've been trying with Google search ads in the past and you know, you just can't beat that local provider who's just huge and just has more customers and more testimonials than you do. Maybe someone expert in your field, in your area is able to help you with that. So first example we gave is just, obviously we mentioned the benefits and the advantage of having a really well-designed website. When's the last time you took a look at it, right? Here in tech and Modernize, we probably redesigned our website twice in the last 18 months. Andrew just mentioned he launched a new website. This stuff happens all the time, right? And because of that, there are a lot of great service professionals out there who do that for you, right? So maybe it's time to call a local web agency and see if they can design you a new homepage or they can give your brand sort of the update that it needs. You still do great work. There's no question about that. But maybe an expert could lend a fresh pair of eyes and just take you that much farther. I mentioned a couple times, but are there consultants and agencies in the specific marketing channels you want to focus on that can help supercharge your efforts, right? PPC is the classic one, right? SEO is tough too. SEO changes every year, every 6 months. Google's always pushing updates. So if that's something you don't want to worry about, you just want to worry about getting the job done, making sure customers have a great experience, following up with leads fast, trust someone to make sure your website is bringing in the traffic that it needs and requires, right? PPC, SEO, Facebook marketing, reputation management, all these things have a ton of great agencies and consultants out there. Google that. Google who in your area can help you with that and request a demo on their site and maybe see how they do things. And you can learn something immediately right there. Andrew, anything? I'm sure you have something to add.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can, like Taylor said, you can Google, find consultants and freelancers in your area. I mentioned it a couple minutes ago. You can use tools like Fiverr and Upwork. I did Upwork earlier on in my career, and I had a flat budget that I couldn't go over. I put what I needed on there from a landing page standpoint. I said, here's the max budget I can go, and people go on and they bid. And they were like, hey, I can do this for this amount, or I can do this for this amount. And they, you know, you can interview them on that application. And it's really designed for entrepreneurs like yourself to not break the bank and move forward. So there's a lot of options out there for you to help you that will not break the bank.
Yeah, and then, you know, even if you find these consultants, even if you find agencies that can help you out, or you do a great job with paid media today, it's never too early to start thinking about lead generation. So Modernize is one of those out there who are able to do that, right? So really the way we think about ourselves, and shameless plug, we're into that part of the webinar. Shameless plug, we are a privately held lead generation service, right? So really what we are is a marketing partner. If you do a great job marketing, but you're still not getting the growth you want, or you're willing and able to trust an outside firm to help you generate that homeowner demand to really run more appointments and close more jobs, there are lead generation companies that can help with that. Obviously, Modernize is one of that. If you're a roofer or HVAC, windows, or solar, we would love to talk with you about that. But that's another lever you can pull to help generate more marketing for you and generate more homeowners that you can potentially sell. So just some more quick facts about us. Unless you had any.
I really got to drive home real quick, Taylor, if that's all right. Like lead gen providers, I absolutely love them. Like as a marketer, as somebody responsible for the growth of our business, like I absolutely love them, both on the consumer side and the business side. On the consumer side, it allows me to go to one source and let the service providers come to me. And then I can see if they're a good fit for us and everything along those lines. It's almost like an RFP, but not exactly. Yeah. As a marketing professional, I love them even more. It's a guarantee for us. They do all the heavy lifting for us. They do all the searching and everything. And what we get in return is leads. We just get leads out of it, which is fantastic. So, you can put money towards Google. You can put money towards Facebook. If you're good at lead gen and demand gen at your business, that's great. But lead gen providers like Modernize are ones that you really should take a look at if you're in that HVAC, that roofing, that windows and siding and solar verticals. Those are really a lot of benefit there from the Modernize side of things, because they do so much heavy lifting for you, and you just know what you're getting out of it. You know you're getting leads out of it. You know it's going to work.
Yeah, well said. Thanks for the vote of confidence, Andrew. It definitely means a lot.
Yeah.
I think one thing I just want to sort of hammer home here is, again, the homeowners we're speaking with, the homeowners we're generating for your business, they're actively looking for you already, right? We have a team of 50 marketers, a lot of them writers, that are helping educate the market about specific projects they want to get done, right? So if they're looking for an HVAC replacement, if they're looking for an upgrade, a lot of them are scouring the web, and a lot of times they end up on modernize.com, or they end up on web properties we own, right? So all the best practices and advertising that you'll see out there, specifically in home improvement, we're leading the charge on those. So again, if growth is something you're looking for, if, as Andrew said, you don't really want to focus on marketing, you just want the inbound demand, you just want to be able to see if they're a good fit, and you don't want to worry about how they got there, we are one of the firms that can help you do that, right? So just a couple things. Really what we're focused on is connecting your sales team with more homeowners. We really help you stay focused on closing the deal, right? So at the very top, we mentioned CRM is super important. If you want to grow your business with technology, if you want to have an organized process and really know how many leads you have in each stage. So Modernize actually feeds into a lot of those CRMs, right? We have an integration with Service Fusion, so we're able to feed in leads to Service Fusion. There's some other CRMs out there, Salesforce, MarketSharp, some of these others that we feed directly into. We can also text you your leads. We can also email you your leads. So really whatever is the most comfortable for you and your business in terms of growing that top of the funnel so you're able to run more appointments and close more jobs, we're able to do. So that's the second point. And the last thing is we have a dedicated account management team. So we have a team of roughly 25 folks that are focused on partnering with your business to help you drive more demand and get the most out of your Modernize programs, right? We're not just sending you emails and you're like, hey, these leads aren't really great, or these aren't in my service area, and then, call an 800 number. You're actually speaking with a live person that you're able to collaborate with on the marketing program. So again, Modernize, we're a marketing program for you, marketing partner for you, focused on growth. So if you have really aggressive goals this year and you want to outsource some of your marketing, we're your people for that. And again, these homeowners are already looking for you. Just pull a lever in which we can feed them into you. So quick thing about Modernize, I'll shut up and let Andrew continue about Service Fusion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot to follow up on that. In terms of Modernize, you guys are a great company, and I'm glad we're partnered with you guys. Service Fusion, I think I said it a little bit before. We're an easy, a smart, and a powerful field service management software that helps our customers win repeat business. I mean, that's all what we're designed to do here at Service Fusion, and all we think about every day is figuring out how to help our customers win more repeat business. We design our application to do that. We tweak our support team to help them get better at that. Our sales process is all designed around making things easier and making your business smarter. It helps you gain visibility and make running your business easier. That's, like I said, everything that we focus on here. We're a pretty feature-rich application. I'm not going to run through each one of these because you can read them. You can visit our website and take a look at them. The two favorites of mine are the scheduling and dispatch grid. It's drag and drop. It's, in my opinion, the best in the industry in terms of scheduling and dispatch software. It's really customizable, and it makes your whole day as a business owner condensed into one screen and gives you total visibility. Oh, is this person available? Is this person available? Are they at the job site? Are they not? All of that is totally customizable. And then we have a really cool feature on our GPS fleet tracking that really makes your customers remember you, and that allows them, it's called the Track My Tech feature, which I really like. It allows you to send a link over to your customers that you're dispatched to, and then they can see where you are on a map, where your tech is on a map, can see a picture of them and their name, and actually give them the ability to contact that tech for whatever reason, right? So if Betsy's at home and she's got an HVAC tech come into the house and she's got a baby sleeping in the room next door, she can actually contact her tech who's 5 minutes out, because she can see that he's 5 minutes out on a map, and say, hey, I've got a baby sleeping, so when you get here, can you not ring the doorbell? I'd really like that baby to sleep a couple more hours long. Providing that kind of technology and service to your customers, they're going to remember you. And then they're going to come back to you because they loved that feature and they loved that service. And they're not thinking about Service Fusion. We're on the back end. They're thinking about you as the HVAC, the roofing, the window siding, any type of vertical. They're thinking about you. And so we're available on web and mobile devices. The thing that really sets us apart is the per user fees. A lot of softwares out there are per user. If your business grows, that's great. We want your business to grow. We don't want to penalize you for that with an added cost. We'd love you to upgrade plans and everything, and we're built for that, but no per user fees at all. And then our support, we provide dedicated onboarding, and then once you're done with onboarding and your customer success manager walks you through everything, then we have a support team that's available through email, live chat within the actual Service Fusion application, or even phone. You can dial in and talk to them on phone, and not a lot of people in the space are doing that those days. So that's just a little bit about Service Fusion and what we provide. Simple, easy, smart, powerful solutions to help our customers win repeat business.
Yeah, love it. Service Fusion, great partner, great solution. We don't just partner with anybody. They're dominant in their space, and people love them. So excited to partner with them, excited to do this webinar with them. And again, growing your business with technology. We're both technology providers. We're sort of more old school in the lead generation space, but technology is what powers our business. Technology is what powers the high quality homeowners that we then feed into your business. So Service Fusion, another great tech partner, and really, again, considering technology, the process in which you do that, ways you can get into technology now, ways you can optimize your website and your current ad spend. All these things involve technology. And again, I'm really thinking about partners like Modernize and Service Fusion. I think will really help take your business to the next step. So want to leave you guys with that before our Q&A. But yeah, Q&A. If you haven't already, we have a Q&A section in which you can type us in questions. We'll try to answer as many as we can. We're running a little bit behind here, but we'll try and get in and get out as soon as we can. So I got a couple questions about, Andrew, I'll just take this first one. Got a couple questions about the trades we're in. So again, just to mention, Modernize, we work on HVAC, roofing, solar, and windows. We also do some siding and doors. But there are a couple fringe cases. So if you do some of these trades and then you do some others, and the other one maybe is your focus outside of those 5 core ones, we can definitely have that conversation. So wait till the next slide, and we have a CTA, a website to visit to get in touch with both Modernize and Service Fusion. So happy to answer those questions after this. But yeah, if you're in some of those fringe trades, we're happy to have that conversation anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. There's one in here that says, you mentioned a technology piece, Leap, earlier on in the webinar. Somebody asked, does Leap partner or link into Service Fusion? We do not have a integration with Leap as a partner with Service Fusion. However, we do have an open API on our Pro plan. That's something that could be an option for you. Leap is definitely a partner that we can take a look at and do an analysis on our end and determine if that's somebody that we want to do a partner with. But as of right now, we don't have an integration with them. We do have the open API though as well. I'm seeing a couple in here about feature enhancements for Service Fusion. Honestly, I don't have a lot of control over feature enhancements at Service Fusion. That's why we have our product department. But if you do reach out to support or talk to your customer success manager, I promise you every single feature recommendation does go to our product team for review and then gets prioritized in that in the roadmap. But no feature recommendation at Service Fusion has ever been ignored. It's always been sent over to the product team and always made as a recommendation to them.
Seeing one here about Home Advisor. So how are we different than Home Advisor? Great question. So Home Advisor also is a lead generation company. A couple key differentiators between Modernize and Home Advisor. Modernize, again, we are 4 core trades: HVAC, windows, roofing, solar. We also have dedicated account managers. So Home Advisor really doesn't partner you with a live person that can actually help you grow your business and really check in with how the marketing is going and how using Modernize is going. Home Advisor doesn't do that. So they're not really your marketing partner. They're a lead aggregator. So they're feeding you leads, and it's sort of up to you how you work them. With Modernize, we link you up with a real live person in which you're able to say on bi-weekly calls or even weekly calls if you need it, how the leads are working for you, what could be going better, and whether or not you want to maybe increase the service area in which you're receiving leads, or decrease. So we're really a partner there. Yeah, those are the sort of the 2 core things. The third would be, we're privately held. Home Advisor is a huge public company, so they're really sort of their board and investors and what they should do. We're owned by a former painter, a former home services contractor who founded Modernize based on the needs he saw as a contractor. So those are the 3 differentiators. Again, we're very similar in the lead gen space, but we think we're lean and we're strong for our size and our specific vertical. So we'd love to chat with you.
I see a question in here. I'm not entirely sure what it's referencing. Is this residential only? It might have been on a specific slide regarding data or something along those lines, but if it's in reference to Service Fusion is for any service provider that is in the residential or commercial space.
And I think that data was for this contract and estimating slide. I can quickly go back to that.
Gotcha.
Yep, these are residential homeowners. So Modernize is residential lead generation. So these are from actual homeowners answered these questions on our survey we roughly do quarterly. But again, the number one thing that was the reason for losing business for contractors was an unclear or confusing quote. So having a transparent contract, having a transparent estimate and sales process will go a long way to closing that deal, especially when enabled and equipped with good technology. So back to Q&A. All right. I'm seeing some questions about pricing. I'm happy to talk through Modernize's pricing, and then Andrew, if you wanted to talk through pricing for Service Fusion. So pricing with Modernize, I'm on the marketing team, obviously, so this isn't something I'm super versed with. That's something we'd love to have you speak with a sales specialist after this. But again, we're about growth. So we typically, we price based on price per lead. And really that varies between the trade and the metro. But our leads are typically anywhere from $30 to $50. And again, it really depends on metro and trade. So if you're looking at expanding your business and having more homeowners to speak with, that's typically what we price at a cost per lead at around $30 to $50. But we'll send you a link on this next slide. We'll send you this recording, and you can reach out to me directly about that. But that's our pricing. Andrew, I'm not sure about Service Fusion pricing.
Yeah, Service Fusion's pretty straightforward. It's flat rate pricing. We have three different plans. We've got a starter plan that's at $99. We've got a plus plan that's at $199. And then we've got a pro plan that's at $349. Those are all monthly rates. You pay that flat rate. And again, no per user fees or anything along those lines. We don't have contracts requirements or anything along those lines. We do have quarterly and semi-annual and annual deals where if you sign up on any of those payment increments, you do get a discount on the application. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward, flat pricing.
Cool. And then we'll answer. I
see a question in here real quick. Does Service Fusion offer on-site or event training at your facility? Typically, we don't. We're based here in Dallas, Texas, and all of our trainers and onboarders and support specialists are really designed to do remote trainings and remote onboarding, and are really built for that. We do have a strategic alliance team that is doing events kind of all around the country for a lot of train dealers in the HVAC space, American Standard dealers, and a couple other ones. And so we do have a couple strategic alliance teams hosting lunch and learns and everything along those lines that are demoing the system, walking through and everything, but it's not onboarding or training or anything along those lines. What I would recommend is reach out to the support team, because they actually do weekly trainings, virtual trainings, where you have an opportunity to kind of ask questions if you need to. Those are done on a bulk basis, similar to webinar style, but it does give you the opportunity to ask questions that are specific to your business.
Love it. I think we'll answer maybe one more question here, Andrew, on my side and then your side, and then we'll call it a day. But the first would be, how many contractors get the same lead? So it really depends on, again, your area and your trade. We have certain areas that are very competitive. Houston's pretty competitive, right? Austin can be competitive based on the trade. So really it depends. If anyone tells you they're selling you exclusive leads, that's just a lie. That's just like not true. Typically, if they're selling you an exclusive lead, they're selling you to maybe one other contractor besides you in a super low demand area, right? So really it depends on the competition in the area based on trade and metro. No lead gen company out there can promise you an exclusive lead, and we wouldn't do that. But we do sell to a limited amount of contractors, each one lead, based on sort of best practices within the industry. So typically a couple, but again, really is a lie to have an exclusive lead, because not only are they probably filling out web forms, they're probably talking to their neighbors or talking to contractors that their neighbors introduced them to. So it's sort of a very opaque process, but that's what we would say about that. Thanks for the question.
Last question I have on here, a couple of last one that I see at least is does Service Fusion sync with Callahan Roach or Service Rhino? It's kind of a tough question to ask. We have partnerships and we talk to Callahan Roach and Service Rhino or Profit Rhino, if you're referring to any of them, on a regular basis, and we know a lot about them. We have a partnership with them. But a sync, I think there's a lot of details that go into a sync that I don't want to misconstrue or anything along those lines. So I'd be hesitant to answer a sync question on something like that in terms of a sync of technology or anything along those lines. So unfortunately, we have a partnership with them, and we do work with them on many different levels. But a sync, I would need a little more information around that question. But any questions that weren't answered, or if you want to expand on those questions, then feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll have a record of them and can always include them in an email back out to people.
Got it. And last question here, not really a question. Several people have asked about the recording. We'll send that to you, if not tomorrow, next week. Really depends on the service. But you will for sure get this recording if you attended or if you register, so no worries on that. We'll also send you the deck. So you'll have all this information able to share with your team or your owner or your, any people reporting into you. So no worries on that. Awesome. So thanks for the great questions, guys. Just wanted to finish this out here. So of course, the attendee bonus. Thanks to all 63 of you that attended up to this point. We're happy to offer an incentive and a discount for looking at either of our two services. So with Modernize, we're offering 15% off Modernize programs. So again, I mentioned we do cost per lead. Typically, we do 100 leads per month to start. We might do less than that. Really depends on the business, but love to offer the attendees of this webinar 15% off. If you want to visit this link, if you want to email me back directly, again, we'll be sending you an email with more information, but would love to get some of you great Service Fusion customers or just prospects or just people checking out this webinar to really try what it would be like to really work with a ton of homeowner demand and really try to grow your business aggressively with a company like Modernize. So happy to offer that incentive to you, and let me know if you have any questions.
Awesome. That's an awesome deal. And on the Service Fusion side, we're offering 10% off the first 3 months for new Service Fusion customers. If you go to that link, servicefusion.com/modernize, and fill out the form, you'll actually go to our strategic alliance team, who is a specialized team that handles partnerships like Modernize and a bunch of other ones that we have. So they'll be able to talk to you about pricing, walk you through what that would be with the 10% off. But yeah, that's a deal that we're offering to all the people here that are still stuck with us.
Love it. Yeah, great deal. Again, a lot of happy Service Fusion customers out there. We wouldn't partner with a middle grade quality partner. So definitely check them out. Check us out. Look out for our email with this information about the webinar. But again, thanks for joining us all. Stay safe out there, everyone. Look forward to catching you on the next one. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.